Hi, my name is Lucy, and the discussion topic of today's podcast is the challenges of new literacies for teachers, students, and the curriculum in the 21st century. First of all, what is literacy and being literate mean to the primary education system? In the Australian curriculum, being literate is described as developing the knowledge, skills, and dispositions to interpret and use language confidently for learning and communication and for participating effectively in society. Literacy involves listening to, reading, viewing, speaking, writing, and creating oral, print, visual, and digital texts, and using and modifying language for different purposes in a range of contexts. New literacies slightly shift from what we already know as traditional literacy skills, which is also known basically as the ability to read and write. New literacies of the 21st century, referred to by Donald J. Liu, a professor of literacies and technology at the University of Connecticut, are the skills, the strategies, the social practices, the dispositions that are required to use online information effectively to learn. These new literacies have created both positive and somewhat negative challenges to those of the 21st century, particularly teachers and the curriculum, as there is always and will be forever growing diverse student cohorts. One of the other challenges for teachers and students related to new literacies is a changing idea of who is considered literate within the 21st century. We are still considered literate if we haven't mastered these new skills of literacy, such as reading an article on Facebook or creating a 20-slide PowerPoint. This issue has been discussed over a number of years and is correspondent to the changing idea of what it means to be literate. The idea of being literate is changing as time goes on and as new technological advances are developed. Being literate in today's society now involves more than learning how to use language effectively. Today, literate individuals know how to gather, analyse, and use information resources, which are not restricted to books and printed materials, to answer questions, solve problems, and make decisions. How does this changing idea affect the everyday lives of diverse student cohorts and their teachers? Well, if the idea of what it means to be literate continues to develop and change with the development of technology, today's educators should be grasping what their own abilities are and expanding them with the same growth as the rate of technology. By doing this, teachers will be able to use their knowledge and skills to create a more engaging and meaningful classroom. If educators aren't able to keep up with the new technologies of today, this may set them back behind from their other colleagues and have an effect on their own students. Keeping up to date with everything that is happening around them will keep young students more engaged, as it can be more relevant to their preferred learning style. For primary students, the use of technologies means that they can use it to their preference and pull more about an activity, rather than each student just completing a basic and almost identical activity. But if students don't have access to these new technologies, an educator that can provide the learning opportunities or the ability to develop the skills required of these new literacies, how will this affect their literacy, and will they still be considered literate? As already discussed, technology advances are occurring every day and aren't slowing down anytime soon. With the continuing evolution of technology, arises issues online. Not everything students see online is fact, and specifically for primary age students, they may not have the ability yet to differentiate what is true or false. Some children may believe everything they find online, and this is where schools need to be ready to fill in the gaps and educate students on how to figure out what is fact and what is fiction. Knowing truth from fiction on the internet is a huge problem, says Kenneth Eastwood, Superintendent of Middletown City School District in New York. Students might be good researchers, but they tend not to scrutinize the information. It seems that evaluating information online, which is just one form of many new literacies we have discussed, and reading a book, which is a more traditional form of literacy, have become almost the same thing. No one should trust everything they read online, but there are some differences, and those differences, when brought into the classroom and incorporated into curriculum and learning, are enhancing the education of many primary school students. Unfortunately, another aspect of technology continuing to advance is that schools will need to be prepared to provide resources for students and educators to continue to grow with the world around them. Many different factors such as social, economic, financial, and location factors will also depend on the type of and amount of resources schools have. Without these resources, the educational experience within these schools will suffer, and more importantly, the vision to bring the new literacies into the classroom. From all of this, the challenges of new literacies for the 21st century will and have become a part of the everyday lives of students and teachers. The idea of who is considered literate may continue to change and alter within many years to come as the technological world persists to evolve. From this evolving, schools should be preparing for what the future holds and how to take it for the advantage of all students and teachers. These challenges that have been discussed in this podcast may not be regarded to as challenges, but as a summon for everyone to put their best foot forward in their literacy and push them to continue to develop and improve their abilities with the ever-growing environment around us.